MP, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honorable John Jeremy, SC, Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. the Honorable Roodal Munilal, MP, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, the Honorable Ernesto Kesar, MP, Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, other ministers of the government and parliamentary secretaries, Ms. Natasha Barrow, Head of the Public Service Acting and Permanent Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ms. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Carinsa Tulsi, Permanent Secretary Acting, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Jennifer Neidhart de Ortiz, Chargé d'Affaires at the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mark Ruther, Deputy Permanent Secretary Acting at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Paula Drakes, Commissioner of State Lands, Mr. John Ardill, Vice President of Global Exploration, Exxon Mobil Upstream Company, Mr. Paul R. Riley, South America Exploration Manager of Exxon Mobil and other Exxon Mobil executives, management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, specially invited guests, members of the media, and the viewing audience. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Karen Paul Lyons, and I am from the Office of the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. Today, I will be your mistress of ceremony. It is my esteemed pleasure to welcome you all to the official signing ceremony for the award of a production sharing contract, Block TTUDI with Exxon Mobil, Trinidad and Tobago, Deepwater Limited. Today, we are here to experience a milestone in our country's continuous drive to build business continuity whilst ensuring benefits for the citizens of our country. To begin, I invite the Honorable Ernesto Kesar, MP and Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, to the podium to give welcome remarks.
Madam Chair, thank you. To the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, SC, MP, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to Senator the Honorable John Jeremy, SC, Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to Dr. the Honorable Roodal Munilal, MP, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, to my esteemed and honorable parliamentary colleagues, ministers of government, and parliamentary secretaries, Ms. Natasha Barrow, Head of the Public Service Acting and Permanent Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ms. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Carinsa Tulsi, Permanent Secretary Acting, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Jennifer Neidhart de Ortiz, Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mark Ruther, Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Paul Drakes, Commissioner of State Lands, Mr. John Ardill, Vice President, Global Exploration, Exxon Mobil Upstream Company, Mr. Paul R. Riley, South America Exploration Manager of Exxon Mobil and other Exxon Mobil executives, the management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, specially invited guests, members of the media, and indeed, members of the viewing public of this beautiful land, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Good afternoon, and thank you for tolerating my very long and winded salutations. Today, brothers and sisters, it is a great and honorable day. I would like to welcome each and every one of you this afternoon to this momentous occasion where we will witness the award of a production sharing contract to Exxon Mobil. Trinidad and Tobago Deepwater Limited Block TTUDI-1, located in the eastern Deepwater area of Trinidad and Tobago. Today marks a significant milestone in the country's energy sector as we embark on this great journey towards exploration of our ultra-deep water with the aim of discovering and monetizing our valuable hydrocarbons. We stand proud today as a ministry led by our minister, the Honorable Dr. Roodal, MP, who has demonstrated distinguished leadership, plunging into the deep end, no pun intended, and guiding negotiations over the past 3 months to get us to this momentum and to have this celebratory moment in our space. I humbly welcome our Honorable Prime Minister, Trinidad and Tobago, supported by her esteemed cabinet, and they acknowledge their oversight and approval of this process. The comprehensive and prudent analysis of this matter by the Cabinet of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago ensures that the results achieved today are on terms that are in the Trinidad and Tobago's interests. We can look forward to hearing more of the technical details of this venture, as well as the benefits to our citizens, as the Honorable Prime Minister and Dr. Munilal addresses us during this program. The technical team of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries has been steadfast throughout this process and has raised the bar in the conduct of these direct negotiations, achieving no small feat over a comparatively short period where we took a typical turnover times for PSC signings. This attests to the institutional strength of the ministry and the dedication of the executive and staff to driving growth and sustainability of our energy sector. I would also like to acknowledge the achievement of this magnitude requires all hands on deck. The Honorable Attorney General and his team supported this process with the timely and thorough vetting of the PSC that will be signed today. I must take this opportunity to let the Honorable AG know that we will be knocking on your door quite regularly, sir, in the future as the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries continue to forge ahead to achieve many more exploration developments and opportunities for our country. As we say, forward ever, backward never. As we welcome this partnership with this energy international giant Exxon Mobil, we recognize and appreciate their interest in working with Trinidad and Tobago, and we commend the commitment by the company in progressing these negotiations and by extension contributing to the energy sector development. This is indeed a positive sign of the perspective of our resources. Exxon Mobil's vast experience in deepwater exploration and the success of this company has achieved around the globe, and most definitely in the neighboring territory of Guyana, is a clear indication that we are moving in the right direction with today's award. And in the words of my minister, as he has always been saying from day one, we intend to return Trinidad and Tobago to be the energy hub of the Caribbean. We envision a prosperous relationship with this company, and that will lead to many more returns for both their shareholders and for indeed our country. As we proceed with this ceremony and execute this PSC today, I am pleased to underscore that the visionary approach of our Honorable Prime Minister and the government of Trinidad and Tobago, as I said before, to return this country to the energy hub of the region is already being realized. I would like to invite everyone involved to carry a high level of expectation for the future initiatives within our energy sector that are driven by efficiency, collaboration, innovation, and maximize returns that will benefit all, especially our immediate generations and from generations to generations. I wish to thank you for your attendance, and may God bless us all. Pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Ernesto Kesar, MP and Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, for your warm welcome remarks. As we continue with our program, I invite to the podium our speakers for the opening remarks. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Vice President of Global Exploration, Exxon Mobil Upstream Company, Mr. John Ardill, to the podium.
It's absolutely wonderful to be here today. We arrived very late last night, and before we get going with the prepared remarks, I would just like to say that this event sets a new benchmark in global PSC signings. So, Madam Prime Minister, thank you for taking the time to join us. Honourable Ministers, thank you for being present here. This is very important for Exxon Mobil and the team. It's great to see them all present on both sides to celebrate together, which is rarely done in these events, but makes this extremely special. Distinguished leaders of Trinidad and Tobago, it's a great honor to speak on behalf of Exxon Mobil today. I would like to cover three areas in my remarks. The first area would be to reflect on both the history of oil and gas in Trinidad and Tobago, and also Exxon Mobil as a foundation to this partnership. Secondly, we mentioned Guyana. We'll just talk a little bit about what we're committing to do here and what you can expect and the benefits that that can bring. And then thirdly, we'll close with, okay, what happens next? How do we move quickly together? And the negotiating teams have set a new standard in pace to get us to today, but it's really just getting out of the starting blocks. So I'll share a little bit about what you can expect next. By way of introduction, this is my first trip to Trinidad and Tobago. I arrived about 1 a.m. in the morning, managed to get the sunrise in, and we'll leave about sunset tonight. But the warm welcome and hospitality in that short period of time is unmatched, shown to me and my team over the last 6 months or so. We're absolutely honored to be here in Port of Spain today to celebrate this historic signing, both for Trinidad, but also equally important for Exxon Mobil. This is a very important day for us as well, and we're happy to be here among friends to share that celebration. This PSC sets a foundation for a strong partnership to explore and unlock new resources. We have the benefit of the map on the wall, which shows an area off to the far east which doesn't have any red or green in it. And so our shared job is to come back with that map in a couple of years and make sure there's some very large green blobs that are on their path to development. So first of all, I'll touch a little bit on your history and contrast that with our own history and what we bring to the table together. It's a tremendously long and successful history in the energy industry in Trinidad and Tobago that exceeds 150 years. The first oil well was drilled in 1866, and out of interest, that's approximately 5 years before the foundation of Standard Oil. So we have that shared history. Crude oil production began shortly after that in 1908, and that happened to be the same year that Esso was founded. And then in the late 70s, natural gas production really grew to become the largest US LNG supplier in 2014. That impressive legacy continues today as Trinidad and Tobago is forging ahead to attract new investments and grow reliable, affordable energy supply. This is at a time when economies around the world and here at home have a profound need for it. Moving on to what's happening in our industry today. And so like Trinidad and Tobago, Exxon Mobil has an important role in providing affordable and reliable energy, and most importantly, to do that responsibly. And just to put some numbers to that, between now and 2030, we will reduce our upstream greenhouse gas emissions by 40 to 50%. So not only are we investing in oil and gas, but we're investing very heavily in emissions reduction. We bring unmatched experience in exploring and developing new oil and gas resources, and most specifically in Deepwater, which is what we're going to talk about here. This takes leading technology and capabilities, which are the essence of what has helped us to succeed in neighboring Guyana. So let's talk a little bit about Guyana to fill in any blanks. And it sets a great example and timeline for, with success in the subsurface, what we can expect to achieve here. And in this role, I've witnessed this firsthand. So we have Guyana in my portfolio as well, and Paul is responsible for Guyana. So when something's working really well, we bring the people and technology and invest in that. So in 2013, we shot 3D seismic data in Guyana, and that's what we're about to embark on together here. Shortly after that, in 2015, we made the Lisa discovery, and the discovery to first oil was achieved in 4.5 years. So first production started in 2019. Today, that's 10 years after that first discovery. Production is currently around 650,000 barrels a day through 3 vessels, and we are just commissioning this week the next vessel, which is our biggest FPSO to date, called Yellowtail. Guyana 1 is the name of the production vessel. And that will add 250,000 barrels a day, so 900,000 barrels a day of production capacity. And most importantly, that pace and success is underpinned by the strong partnership with the government of Guyana, which sets a great example of with the right partnership, which we have established here very quickly over the last 6 months. And the benefit of that, we talked a little bit about benefits, is real economic growth, and Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world today. It brings societal development, so if you visit Georgetown, you'll see the infrastructure improvements, and very importantly, jobs to the local economy. Throughout this experience, Exxon Mobil has really learned a lot about the Caribbean offshore geology, and that's what positions us to move very quickly here in Trinidad and Tobago. Our plan and my commitment to you is to bring that experience to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we see great potential to replicate the Guyana success here. And let me tell you why. So we'll talk a little bit about what happens next in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a very compelling location for oil and gas investments. And many in this room have worked very hard to create that attractive investment environment. And we have experienced that firsthand in our dealings over the last 6 months. That deep-rooted history in oil and gas that brings a wealth of expertise and capabilities across the entire value chain, that should allow us to move even faster than Guyana. The mature dynamic industry, robust infrastructure, deep water ports, these are all things that we had to build over the last 10 years in Guyana. In Exxon Mobil, we recognize above all two things in Trinidad and Tobago. The first one, I ask my team this every time, what do the rocks look like? And so we're very excited to test the rocks. While this is still frontier exploration, has great potential in this ultra deep water area. It's very challenging. It's far from shore, I think 190 miles, ultra deep water, but we have the perfect experience to bring to this challenge. And even more important than that is the relationship and the partnership. So we have a very supportive government and investment environment, as I mentioned. That's critical to the success and pace. And I've observed this firsthand with the commitment through that negotiation period, which gives me very strong support for this investment within Exxon Mobil to move quickly. The PSC negotiations, as I mentioned, moved at record pace. We do this all over the world. Last week I was in London, signed an agreement on Libya on Monday, DC, signed Azerbaijan on Thursday, and we'll head to Algeria tonight. And this is among the fastest pace of any of those examples. And I'm just amazed you're doing that at the same time as executing the largest oil and gas licensing round in Trinidad and Tobago's history. So the round of applause should be to yourselves for achieving this over the last 6 months. So begin to wrap up now. So just to put a little context around, the PSC is a first but very important step to renewing exploration offshore, and specifically in the deep water, which is a very challenging environment. I have a little disclaimer as being a geologist in charge of exploration at Exxon Mobil. No guarantees of success, but I would tell you, but many of the largest discoveries and developments in the world are occurring in deep water environments similar to what you have here. And I think you've got an excellent partner. So together, this is the right time. We're going to bring Exxon Mobil's leading technology capability directly from Guyana. We'll leverage our presence, rigs, development concepts, and pace. And if you benchmark Guyana, it's by far the leading deepwater development in the world in terms of both scale and pace. So we're well positioned together. And all of this comes back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's why we're here. And we want to build on that rich history and open up the deep water. So I'd like to thank you again. Today is really a testament to that forward-thinking leadership of Madam Prime Minister and all of the Cabinet, and thank you for your presence here. It really shows support to this agreement. Your organization, and I think both of the working teams are sitting right back there, have done a tremendous job to get us here in a very short period of time, and we really owe it to them as we enjoy this moment in the limelight. This is an example, and I would go as far as to say a shining example for other governments to follow. And with your permission, I will use this example with other governments around the world as to what can be achieved. So wrap up now. In conclusion, I represent Exxon Mobil here, and we are pleased beyond belief to bring our expertise and technology to contribute and further develop Trinidad and Tobago's long and rich hydrocarbon industry and history. And we want to write the next chapter together. A commitment now. We stand ready to commence 3D seismic acquisition in the next 6 months to collect the data we'll need to identify the prospect that then will mature quickly. And with that prospect, we'll drill a well to test that. And remember the Guyana story? That was 2015. And Guyana today, we've drilled over 130 wells in that 10-year period and all of the other benefits. So our job here is to turn this agreement into a successful partnership that will benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'll close with thank you again for the incredibly warm welcome to both my team over the last 6 months, and I witnessed that firsthand today. Port of Spain's a beautiful location, and we look forward to working here. And next time, apparently the carnival is not to be missed, so we're going to time that next meeting in coincidence with that. Thank you very much, and we look forward to working together.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Ardill, Vice President of Global Exploration and leader of Exxon Mobil delegation, for your valuable and insightful opening remarks. Secondly, to address you with further opening remarks, I wish to now welcome to the podium the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. the Honorable Roodal Munilal, MP.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa, Senior Counsel, Member of Parliament, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honorable John Jeremy, Senior Counsel, Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Ernesto Kesar, Member of Parliament, Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, other very distinguished cabinet ministers, members of parliament, ministers of government, parliamentary secretaries, Ms. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Mrs. Karinsa Tulsi, Permanent Secretary, Acting Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Jennifer Neidhart de Oritz, Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mark Rudder, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Ms. Paula Drakes, Commissioner of State Lands, our distinguished guest, Mr. John Ardill, Vice President of Global Exploration, Exxon Mobil, Upstream Company, Mr. Paul Riley, South America Exploration Manager at Exxon, management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, our very distinguished President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, Comrade Roger, joining us at this historic occasion. Specially invited guests, members of the press, good afternoon to all of you. It is my pleasure to announce the signing of an historic production sharing contract for Block Trinidad and Tobago Ultra Deep 1 between the Government of Trinidad and Tobago and Exxon Mobil Trinidad and Tobago Deepwater Limited. This Block 1 is a merger of 7 blocks which were previously designated as Trinidad and Tobago Deep Atlantic Area 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. This is, of course, in one contract area now. It is situated in the eastern deepwater area of Trinidad and Tobago in water depths greater than 2,000 meters with an area of 7,165 square kilometers. By way of reference, the surface area of the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, the surface area, is 5,128 square kilometers. What we are awarding today is larger than the surface area of the country. Today's signing is a result of the successful direct negotiations between the Ministry of Energy and Exxon Mobil and the endorsement of this outcome by the Cabinet of the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, although bid rounds are the preferred method of award, direct negotiations is allowed in the Petroleum Act and have been adopted by the Ministry of Energy as an additional approach in the effort to accelerate and optimize the exploration of our country's hydrocarbon resources. In December 2024, the Ministry received approval to engage in direct negotiations with Exxon Mobil for an award of a production sharing contract for the blocks in question. Intense negotiations followed, which resulted in the agreement on terms for the production sharing contract. They were mutually beneficial to Trinidad and Tobago as well as Exxon Mobil. Both the Ministry's team and Exxon Mobil's team are to be congratulated for their sterling contribution in successfully completing the negotiations within a relatively short period of time. The ultra-deep marine area represents the country's best prospect for the discovery of substantial hydrocarbon resources. To date, we have had some success with discoveries in the southeastern and northeastern area of the ultra-deep water area. These discoveries were based on the work of BHP Billiton, now Woodside, and their partners BP and Shell. That activity arose out of acreage awarded in the period 2012 to 2014, when 9 deepwater blocks were awarded by the then government of the People's Partnership. However, those blocks in the northeastern marine area, which were held by the consortium of Woodside and BP, have been progressed to the point of commercial potential, with gas reserves in the region of 3.5 trillion cubic feet. The ultra-deep water Atlantic margin comprises the extreme eastern portion of Trinidad and Tobago's marine area. Geologically, the area comprises the tortuous portion of prison of Barbados waters, which is considered a prime target for oil and gas exploration. 3 analogues have been compared to Trinidad and Tobago, compared to our ultra-deep water area. These are the Guyana-Suriname Basin, the Ghana-Tano Basin, and the ultra-deep waters of Nigeria. In all 3 of these areas, major oil finds were discovered. The eminent geologist and petroleum industry expert, our own Dr. Krishna Prasad, is of the view that there are significant resources of oil and gas remaining to be found in the various geologic basins of Trinidad and Tobago. Estimates of yet undiscovered oil are in the range of 5 billion barrels. The ultra-deep marine area offers the greatest prospect for such discovery. Previous drilling campaigns in the ultra-deep water in Trinidad and Tobago have been moderately successful, as they have not fully tested the petroleum system within the complex structures. Ladies and gentlemen, new 3D data acquisition and updated imaging workflows employing full waveform inversion will provide a better understanding of these complex geologic nuances and improve the chances of hydrocarbon discoveries in Trinidad and Tobago. As Mr. Ardill told us, Exxon Mobil is well equipped with the technology to deal with this major challenge. The growth of the deepwater sector is among the most impressive and dynamic aspects of the energy industry over the past 25 years. In the early years, the limits of technology meant wells could only be drilled in water depths of around 1,500 meters, whereas today's most capable assets can drill in water twice as deep. Many key advancements have made this possible, including everything from the design of drill ships and semi-submersibles to the innumerable cast of other high-pressure, high-temperature technologies. The advancement in technology alone means that challenges presented by the country's ultra-deep water sector have largely been addressed. In Exxon Mobil, the government has a partner with one of the most active deepwater explorers on the planet, with aggregate in Guyana, Angola, and the Eastern Mediterranean. Exxon's success in Guyana's Stabroek Block is one of the biggest stories in the global oil and gas industry for the past 10 years. Exxon Mobil has a track record of rapidly deploying technologies and methods to safely develop a wide range of resources, both onshore and offshore, in diverse locations around the world. The company was responsible for Trinidad and Tobago's advent into deep water when it was awarded in 1998 by the Pandey government production sharing contracts for blocks 25B and 26. These blocks are off the coast of Trinidad at the edge of our deepwater area, closest to shore. This earlier project was not successful. However, this has not deterred Exxon Mobil, as evidenced by today's signing. The renewed interest in Trinidad and Tobago is an indication of the confidence of Exxon Mobil in the hydrocarbon potential of the deepwater area of Trinidad and Tobago. This interest may in part be related to the corporation's successful exploration activity in Guyana, which has thus far yielded the discovery of almost 11 billion barrels of oil equivalent. Studies suggest a potential link between Trinidad and Tobago's deepwater areas and the petroleum systems in offshore Guyana. Exxon Mobil has committed to undertake a minimum exploration work program for this block, which includes the acquisition of 5,500 square kilometers of 3D seismic during the first phase of the exploration period. The acquisition of seismic survey is scheduled to commence within 12 months of the effective date of our signing. This will be complemented by geological and geophysical studies. Ladies and gentlemen, the acquisition of this seismic data and the conduct of geological and geophysical studies will be essential to reducing geological risk. At a minimum, Exxon Mobil has also agreed to the drilling of 2 exploration wells, with one of these wells in each of the optional second and third phases of the exploration period. Drilling will serve to validate the hydrocarbon potential of this ultra-deep water frontier area. With respect to financial obligations, agreement in respect of the following items was successfully secured: administrative charge, minimum payment, training contributions, research and development contributions, technical assistance, equipment bonus, and scholarships. The value of the financial obligations amount to 12.8 million United States dollars, or 87 million TT dollars, in phase 1 of the project. A successful development within this block could result in an investment of up to United States $21.7 billion. Trinidad and Tobago's deepwater areas have come into heightened focus as a result of the country's mature hydrocarbon basins on land and in shallow water, which began to show signs of aging and consequential decline in oil and gas production. As a consequence, the country's deepwater province, which has been largely unexplored, has been targeted as a potential source of oil and gas. However, exploration in our deepwater has been limited and with varying success. A new and more productive approach was needed. Today's signing represents a new chapter in the country's oil and gas history, with this deepwater province taking center stage. May I also repeat, as was said last night by the Honorable Prime Minister at a function that was slightly more lively, that this also marks the 100th day of the coming into being of the government of the United National Congress under the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. So it is a day of celebration. Today is a vote of confidence in Trinidad and Tobago's energy future by the largest publicly traded oil and gas company by market capitalization. Following this signing, we will be closing off the Deepwater bid round, in which 26 deepwater blocks are on offer. The deadline was initially July, but we have now extended that to September 17th, a few days to come. We have done this because of the enormous interest by several key international players, the request for additional data and additional time. We are hopeful for a successful bid round, as interest has been high and includes a number of new and leading oil and gas companies. Oil and gas will continue to be the mainstay of our economy for some time in the future. We will be pursuing strategies to ensure the maximum exploitation of the country's hydrocarbon resources to benefit our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Honorable Prime Minister stated in her address last evening, we are investor-friendly, and we will continue to encourage and support investment in this sector. We welcome Exxon Mobil back to Trinidad and Tobago. We have followed their work in Guyana, their support to the Guyana economy and people. Notwithstanding, I think they are the main supporter of the Amazon warriors, I believe. But notwithstanding that, we welcome you. We welcome you back to Trinidad and Tobago to invest in upstream, and particularly the ultra-deep water of Trinidad and Tobago. Your return is a confirmation of this country's hydrocarbon potential and its accommodating energy policies. I look forward to working closely with you in the implementation of this venture and wish you all success. I remind particularly Cabinet colleagues that it has always been a government of the UNC that has progressed in deep water. It was during the 1995-2001 period, ladies and gentlemen, that we had our first deep water campaign. It was during 2010 to 2015 that I believe 1.2 million hectares of acreage was awarded. And from that came the Calypso project, which carries 3.5 trillion cubic feet from our decisions of 2010-15. Today, within 100 days of coming to office, we now sign off with one, as they call them, an oil major, one of the largest companies in the world. We're extremely proud. I'd like to close by thanking and congratulating Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, and the ministry's extremely hard-working negotiating team for their dedicated work, which resulted in this historic day. I want you to give them a round of applause. And to Exxon Mobil, I say welcome back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. the Honorable Roodal Munilal, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, MP, for your encouraging and enlightening opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would have a musical duet performance by Mr. Marcus Nelson on the violin and Miss Rihanna Niles on the viola, with an inspirational interpretation of the prayer. Thank you, Mr. Marcus Nelson and Miss Rihanna Niles from Mackey's Music Academy for your interpretation on such a beautiful, inspirational, classical repertoire. The next item on our program is the feature address, and we have the privilege to host the Honorable Kamala Persad Bissessar, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, SC, MP, to present today's feature address. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Kamala Persad Bissessar, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, SCMP, to deliver the feature address. Honorable Prime Minister, you have our undivided attention.
Thank you very much. Let's give it up for the Mistress of Ceremonies. Thank you very much for your very kind words. And in case you're wondering why half of the persons sitting here are falling asleep on themselves, is because of a very important meeting we had last night. So wake up, guys, as I say good afternoon to all of you. I can't hear you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Please have your seats. Thank you. So my colleagues have done a very great job of going through the entire protocol list. So you'll forgive me when I say distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Is that okay? Yes, thank you. But I will not want to go by without really welcoming Mr. Ardill to our shores. He said this is his first visit, and I want him to guarantee us it will not be his last visit to Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you. And of course, your colleague, Mr. Riley, thank you so much. Chargé d'Affaires, it's always pleasant to see you and your team. Thank you very much. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we really need to express how wonderful it was to listen to the duet just now from Rihanna Niles. Give her a round of applause. Marcus Nelson, thank you. And in case you're wondering, Rihanna is the daughter of P.S. Niles, sitting here with us. Thank you. And the song they chose for us today is really a very important one. As we welcome Exxon here, it's really our prayer that you do find oil and gas in that Deepwater block. So thank you all so much. Always a pleasure. Again, for those joining us, the energy sector really, energy security is so vital and important for us. Last night I said it, there are those up in the north. Sorry that Exxon is part of them, but they are from the north. But the northern hemisphere developed their countries to the fullest and are now trying to put on us that we should clamp down on our carbon emissions. We should look not too much at hydrocarbons. But Trinidad and Tobago has a competitive advantage when it comes to hydrocarbons, when it comes to the energy sector, and we should not lightly surrender that. We must continue to look, reevaluate, and as Mr. Ardill told us, we'll be looking to keep emissions as low as possible. That's our benefit. The good Lord gave us that energy resource, and let us use it to the fullest. So we welcome Exxon here for fuel security, energy security, so vital to us as it has been. We are one of the oldest, as you pointed out, Mr. Ardill, one of the oldest oil and gas economies in the world. You gave us some dates. I don't think any of us were born at that time. But we have inherited from those times. So it's a privilege to join you at this milestone for our energy sector. Signing of this PSC contract, Ultra Deep 1, between our government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, Exxon Mobil, Deepwater Limited. Is there significance with Deepwater? You're a special branch of Exxon because you're going into a really deep block. I'm watching it there, way off, far away, and our prayers remain with you to bring back oil and gas for Trinidad and Tobago. We spoke about ultra deep water. Look, I will not keep you ultra deep long here. in this speech. I do have another a place to attend, and I'm sorry I came from another place earlier today. But I tell you that Trinidad and Tobago will not wait for the end of any energy age. We will lead the next chapter by innovating, investing, and expanding into new frontiers. Today's signing underscores our government's commitment to strengthening national energy security and to unlocking the full value of our hydrocarbon resources through discipline, policy, competitive terms, and trusted partnerships. And Mr. Ardill, may I say, of course you're free to use the fast-track model that we use to get you on board, but maybe I'll ask my Attorney General to help me with getting some copyright fees from using that model. Thank you very much. We were very happy to work with you. Energy has been the bedrock of our economy. At its peak in early 2000, this sector accounted for nearly 45% of our GDP, over 40% of total government revenue, and around 80% of our foreign exchange earnings. Over the last decade, however, sustained declines in oil and gas production, compounded by lower commodity prices, reduced the sector's contribution to the economy and brought us down. The domestic economy eroded public revenues. Upon returning to government, and forgive me if I'm not being very modest today to boast about 100 days in office, we treated this downturn as a clarion call to restore momentum, renew confidence, and re-establish TNT as our Minister of Energy tells us, as the energy hub of our region, which we once were. Our renewal agenda is clear. We implemented strategic policies to optimize our petroleum resources so that the people of TNT, the rightful owners, receive equitable returns while investors earn fair and predictable profits. The foundation is a regenerative energy economy, resilience now, sustainability over the long term. To compete and win, we will do the following: maintain an attractive fiscal framework aligned to risk and reward. And Minister sitting next to me, Minister of Energy, Dr. Monilal, said to me, well, this will take time. Of course, everything takes time. But I said to him, tell your peers and your team, give me 10 points. Share with me 10 points of how we can fast-track this initiative. Because if we can do that, if we may have to go to Parliament and legislate from the old legal framework, let's do it and make this happen in the shortest possible time with Exxon. So, in the energy sector, we will maintain an attractive fiscal framework aligned to risk and reward, enhance operational efficiency across exploration and production, reduce production costs by enabling technology and logistics, and streamline regulatory oversight without compromising standards. It's very important. So we'll have the guardrails, but we'll also have the progress that is to come. Regulatory oversight on REGI, they said that they will use you. Mr. Kesar, Minister in the Ministry of Energy, said they will be knocking on your door. And I want us to really look at the regulatory framework, the legal framework, so we can really make this happen in the shortest possible time. Are you ready? Reggie? Yes? And the other lawyers, Minister of Justice, Minister of Defense, all the lawyers in the team, help me with the regulatory framework. Because our laws are far outdated. We haven't made the changes. The last time we really looked at the laws relating to the energy sector was when we were there 2010 to 2015. That is what? 10 years ago. 10 years ago. We have had a lot of promises. I'm not here to complain. We are here to work, but we have to recognize the deadlocks and, where we are bottlenecked in the regulatory framework, in the legal framework. So we have to look at the ease of doing business. And in energy, that will include the following: remove administrative bottlenecks. This is what I was saying to you, remove the administrative bottlenecks. A piece of paper from one desk to another takes 2 months. That can't be real. We don't have paper anymore. We are on these devices in 1 second. You're just one WhatsApp away, no longer from paper to desk. We can get it to happen. Remove bottlenecks. Modernize licensing and approvals. Again, AG and the team, legally we need to look at that. Clarify legal frameworks. Improve transparency at every stage of the value chain. With this approach, I fully expect today's ceremony to be the first of many such ceremonies. So, allow me to place in today's agreement into a context. Some of you may remember, some of you as young as me will remember more, and some of you are not so young as me will remember less. So let's say it here. Progress is not an accident, but it is a continuum. And in my previous term in government, from 2010 to 2015, I think Minister Morilal mentioned some of it, we reignited frontier exploration and restored investor confidence through decisive, measurable action. In April 2011, less than a year in taking office then, we executed 3 production sharing contracts in the North Coast Marine Area, Blocks 2, 3, and 4, with partners including NICO Resources, RWEDA, Petrotrin, and Venture North Sea Oil, later Centrica. That was 2011. In 2012, we concluded Deepwater production sharing contracts with BP for Block 23A and Block Trinidad and Tobago Deep Atlantic Area 14. 2013, we signed 4 Deepwater production sharing contracts for Deep Atlantic Area Blocks 5, 6, 28, and 29 with BHP Billington. In 2013, again, July, we added a negotiated production sharing contract for Deepwater Block 23B with BHP Billington and Repsol. In December 2014, we finalized 2 further Deepwater production sharing contracts, Deep Atlantic Area Blocks 3 and 7, and with BHP Billington and BG Consortium with BHP as the operator. So at each step, what did we do? We pushed the frontier outward. We expanded modern seismic coverage, we sharpened our geoscience, and we built local capability. Block Trinidad and Tobago Ultra Deep 1 now stands on a solid foundation. Our basin knowledge meets Exxon Mobil's ultra deep water capability. That is how we turn prospects into production and potential into lasting national value for our citizens. Today, we also send a very clear message. Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector is open for business. Investor confidence from global majors remains strong, as evidenced again by Exxon Mobil's participation. After 22 years, Exxon Mobil has come back to Trinidad and Tobago. They probably know something that we are going to find out very soon. So we welcome you. Exxon Mobil ranks amongst the world's leading oil and gas companies by revenue, by market capitalization, and production capacity. We welcome Exxon Mobil as a partner with the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago in advancing our upstream sector. Exxon's technology leadership in ultra-deepwater environments is eagerly anticipated as we position our nation to be part of the region's deepwater revival. The data acquisition associated with this PSC will enrich our national subsurface database and significantly deepen our understanding of our petroleum potential. Today's event then, I say, is a momentous one, sir, Ms. Ardill. In TNT's energy sector, we see benefits extending both to your good self and your company, Exxon Mobil, and also to the nation, our beloved nation, Trinidad and Tobago. Ultra-deep water exploration has the potential to deliver very large volumes at high margins, easily offsetting the tremendous capital costs and technical challenges inherent in a project of this scale. It is estimated that Exxon Mobil will incur expenditure of an estimated US $42.5 million in the mandatory first phase of this project. That is no small amount of money. and it's in hard currency, US dollars. With success, I am told the projected development could cost between US 16.4 million and US $21.7 billion. Billion, 16.4, I'm sorry, billion, and US 21.7 billion. Globally, estimates of undiscovered resources in deepwater vary. Some assessments indicate roughly 1/3 of the world's undiscovered conventional oil and gas lie in deepwater basins. Other studies suggest as much as 80%, depending on definitions and methodologies, 80% lie in deepwater basins. What is not in doubt is the scale and strategic importance of deepwater to the world's future supply. While TNT is often described as a mature hydrocarbon province, we still hold extensive deepwater acreage that remains unexplored. Based on the latest oil audit, prospective oil resources in active acreage are just under 3 billion barrels, underscoring the opportunity ahead of us. We are confident in the success of this major project. We want to wish again to Exxon Mobil as our partner, to wish them the best for our mutual gain. And I say, my friends, we all know that unrealized potential has absolutely no value. We would therefore maintain strong momentum in exploration across all domains, deep water, shallow water, and onshore. To this end, I mandated the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and the Minister Kesar in that ministry to do the following in the energy sector. Accelerate the responsible exploration of unexplored land and marine acreages. Continuously improve acreage award processes and undertake a comprehensive review of the oil and gas taxation regime to ensure TNT remains an internationally competitive hydrocarbon province. This is your task, ministers and PS in the ministry. Our principle is simple. Investment goes where it is welcome, and investment stays where it is well treated. That must be the signature of our stewardship. Today's achievement reflects collaboration and teamwork of the highest order. I extend heartfelt congratulations to the Honourable Minister, Dr. Roodal, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Minister Kesar, Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, to the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, and the Ministry's negotiating team for their diligence and professionalism under tight timelines. Can we give the Ministry's team a round of applause? And may I recognize amongst us, and I'm sure you'll be seeing more often, hopefully, as Exxon undertakes this mammoth task, the President General of Oilfield Trade Workers Union, Mr. Ansel Roger, who is amongst us. May I also take this opportunity to extend to Exxon Mobil, your negotiation team, for their constructive engagement and commitment to this venture. Additionally, I acknowledge again the Office of the Attorney General for your timely vetting of the PSC and associated documents which enabled today's successful sign. In closing, I repeat, this agreement sets a very strong precedent for the next phase of our energy future. While global headwinds may arise beyond our control, the path ahead is brighter. The domestic energy sector is in safe, steady, experienced hands, the hands of a government that knows the business and will to deliver for the people of TNT. May the work we begin today light opportunity in every home and hope in every heart. We are confident in the success of this major project. We again want to wish Exxon Mobil every success as we partner for mutual gain and for the long-term prosperity of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, and may God continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Kamala Persad Bissessa, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, SC, MP, for your very engaging feature address, which echoes the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago commitment to country and people development. Continuing with today's proceedings, we would now welcome Mr. Sachin Budram from the Marquis Music Academy to perform a solo cultural item on the violin. Thank you, Mr. Sachin Budram, for such a vibrant performance. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have all been waiting for. The official signing ceremony for the award of a production sharing contract, Block TTUDI 1 with Exxon Mobil, Trinidad and Tobago, Deepwater Limited. As we ensure compliance on this business agreement, I wish to invite the Commissioner of State Lands, Ms. Paula Drakes, to the head table for signing. Ms. Drakes, a chair will be provided for you at the head table. In addition, both parties' legal teams are invited to assist with signing at the head table. Ladies and gentlemen, I will repeat, this is the moment we have all been waiting for. Performing a David Rudder cultural melody on steel pan from Marquis Music Academy. As the signing ceremony proceedings are taking place, is Miss Adia Ramjatan. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just witnessed the official signing ceremony for the award of a production sharing contract, Block TTUDI with Exxon Mobil, Trinidad and Tobago Deepwater Limited. This significant event, hosted by the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, cannot be complete without a vote of thanks. First, a heartfelt thank you to our speakers for your remarks, as they have all inspired, informed, and assured us of the greatness to expect in the future of our energy industries. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, SCMP Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for your feature address. Dr. the Honorable Roodal Munilal, MP, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, thank you for your opening remarks. Mr. John Ardill, Vice President of Global Exploration, Exxon Mobil Upstream Company, thank you for your opening remarks. The Honorable Ernesto Kesar, MP, Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, thank you for your welcome remarks. The Exxon Mobil negotiations team, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries negotiations team, thank you. Staff of the Diplomatic Center, thank you. Staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, thank you as well. Members of the media, thank you. Finally, thank you all to our guests for your presence here today and our viewing audience at the signing ceremony for the award of a production sharing contract, Block TTUDI with Exxon Mobil, Trinidad and Tobago Deepwater Limited. We hoped you enjoy the event as much as we enjoyed hosting it. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our formal program. Immediately after this, officials are
The deep blue Caribbean Sea won't be the only source of water found on the island.
Come for a game of hide and seek to see if this turquoise tease is going to let you sneak a peek. Introducing
Alcedo.